Good evening, citizens of Israel. On behalf of all of you, I would like, first of all, to pass my condolences from the bottom of my heart and from the bottom of your hearts to the dear families of Sergeant Yosef Yehuda Chirat and First Sergeant Yanilo Mukano of blessed memory, who have fallen in the Gaza Strip. This war is making us pay heavy prices. However, it does have a justified and clear goal: to topple Hamas, that has carried out the atrocities of October 7th, to bring about the return of all of our hostages, and to make sure that Gaza will no longer pose a threat to Israel. These goals are intertwined, and we are committed to achieving them completely and fully. We have already achieved a lot. However, there is still work to be done. We have a very organized plan. We began with Gaza. We killed dozens of thousands of terrorists. We killed Def Hania, Yihya Sinwar, and probably Muhammad Sinwar as well. We have destroyed endless terror infrastructure. Those who attacked us so viciously now realizes very well the destruction it has brought upon itself. Thanks to the valor of our warriors and thanks to the decisions we have made, we have brought back 197 hostages to this day, of them 148 live hostages. 148. We are certain that there are still 20 live hostages and up to 38 who are dead, and we will bring them all back. I would like to remind you that at the beginning of the war, there were those who said that perhaps we will not be able to bring a single hostage back. That's what they said, a very senior position holder. But I believed differently, and I took action to that direction, and that way has proven itself. We will have the opportunity for a temporary ceasefire to bring back more hostages, and I want to reiterate, a temporary ceasefire. We are prepared for that. After we have crushed the enemy in the south, we withstood great pressure internationally to stop the war, and I must say we also withstood great pressure domestically to end the war. But we pushed back on that pressure. We went into Rafah. We overtook the Philadelphia corridor. We stopped the supply line of Hamas, and only then could we turn northwards to Lebanon with the bold beeper pager operation, the likes of which we have never seen. Thousands of essential Hezbollah operatives were injured, and we killed many terrorists. We killed Nasrallah, we killed his successor, his successor's successor. We destroyed the vast majority of Hezbollah's missile inventory, which they have built for many years. We demolished the terror villages in southern Lebanon and therefore removed the threat of incursion into northern Israel. And we are actually imposing this ceasefire very, very persistently. And it's not as if we are seeing any other threats. The IDF is pushing back on all of that. Our actions in Lebanon have led to the topple of Assad's regime in Syria and the destruction of most of the Syrian army's capabilities. We have delivered great blows to the Houthis in Yemen, also in recent days, and we have yet to say the final word. We have also impacted Iran's aerial defense capabilities and essential infrastructure, but let me say that Iran remains a significant threat to Israel. We, of course, with full coordination with the United States, we're constantly talking to them, and we hope that if they can reach an agreement that will prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons, that means that it will prevent Iran from having the capability to enrich uranium. If that will be achieved, of course, we will welcome it. However, at any rate, the state of Israel keeps the right to itself, to protect itself from a regime that wants to destroy it. And at any rate, even if we do have these great achievements vis-a-vis the Iranian axis, we have yet to complete this war. Gideon's chariots, this operation is there in order to complete this war. 3 days ago, I instructed together with the Minister of Defense, and the cabinet also approved unanimously to go into another phase of this war. Our forces are delivering huge blows, which will continue and increase on the forts of Hamas that still remain. And I would like to ask you to do one thing. Ask the residents of Sderot, Netivot, Beersheba, the Gaza envelope communities. Their houses are shaking, and they're shaking not because of Hamas missiles, but because of the magnitude of the IDF's fire. Our forces are taking over more and more areas in order to clear them from terror infrastructure and terrorists of Hamas. And at the end of this step, all the areas of the Gaza Strip will be under Israeli security control, and Hamas will be defeated. In order to maintain our freedom of action, in order to allow our best friends to continue to support us, we must prevent a humanitarian crisis. We said that at the beginning of the war too, and I hear from our best friends, Israel's best friends, friends from the Senate, true friends, great friends of Israel, and they're saying to me, we are giving you full support. We are sending you weapons. We are giving you full support in the UN Security Council. Kill and destroy these monsters. But one thing we cannot tolerate. We cannot tolerate a situation where there is a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. But at the same time, we all know, you all know, that Hamas is taking much of the aid for itself, and the rest they are selling at exaggerated prices in order to fund its army. In order to get more terrorists, they are using this money. We kill terrorists and they recruit more terrorists using the aid money. And so in order to prevent Hamas from being able to take over this humanitarian aid, we have developed a new plan with the United States for giving out the food to the civilians so that it will not get to Hamas' hands. And this will be divided into 3 parts. The first part is bringing back basic food into Gaza right now in order to prevent a humanitarian crisis, in order to allow us to continue fighting. The second phase, which will happen in the next few days, is opening points of food delivery by U.S. companies with the security and defense of the IDF. And the third phase, while we gain control of areas in Gaza, creating a sterile area in southern Gaza that the population will be brought to in order to protect it. And in this area, which will be clear of Hamas, the residents of Gaza will get all the humanitarian aid they require. But there are those who say, around the world, but also here in Israel, enough already, stop with the war, end the fighting. Well, I have news for you. I am willing to end the war, but there should be clear conditions that must ensure Israel's security. All the hostages must return. Hamas will have to step down from ruling and demilitarize. Gaza will have to be completely demilitarized and disarmed, and we will carry out Trump's plan. Such a correct plan, so revolutionary, and it says one very simple thing. Any Gaza residents who will want to leave will be able to leave. Anyone who is calling upon us to stop the fighting before these goals have been achieved is in fact calling for Hamas to remain in rule. And what does that mean? It means that all of our achievements, all of our sacrifices by our valor, by our valiant warriors will be over. And Hamas will continue digging tunnels and will continue sending terrorists into our communities. We'll have more abductions, more murders, more rapes, and more babies being burned. And I am not willing to endure that. Citizens of Israel, you too will not endure that. I heard yesterday the horrifying things that Yair Golan had said. And like many of you, like the majority of Israel's citizens, I was shocked and appalled. While our brave soldiers are sacrificing their lives in the Gaza Strip to protect our country and to bring back our hostages, Yair Golan is accusing them of war crimes. He's saying that we are killing babies. He's not saying we're killing babies. He's saying we're killing babies as a hobby, as a pastime. I only heard that from the greatest of anti-Semites who speak in blood libels about Israel. It reminds me of medieval times. Those who really do have a habit and a hobby of killing babies, doing so monstrously and maliciously, is Hamas. Hamas, not IDF soldiers who do everything in their power to refrain from killing civilians and babies. There is no army more moral than the IDF. However, instead of defending the IDF soldiers, some protect Yair Golan, and they are fueling this bonfire of hatred. And he lost his way, and all those former senior officials with him. And about that in Ethics of the Fathers, it says that envy, lust, and honor drive a person out of this world. And I will tell you why they are doing it. They are doing it because for them, everything is politics. In order to topple the Israeli government, they are willing to do anything. Anything. To burn the club down, to speak badly and badmouth Israel around the world. And they're willing to do one more thing. They are willing to have us lose the war. So thankfully and gratefully, the vast majority of Israeli citizens are absolutely repulsed by these things. And it doesn't weaken the wonderful spirit, the strong spirit of our warriors. I meet them in the field. I meet the wounded. I meet the reservists. I meet the bereaved families. And they tell me, Bibi, don't stop. Go all the way until victory. And that's what I am telling you, citizens of Israel, tonight. We are here together all the way until victory. Together we will fight, and with God's help, together we will prevail. Prime Minister will take questions. Channel 14. Good evening, Mr. Prime Minister. I heard MK Saada speak in court today and my stomach turned, and not metaphorically. How is it that the law enforcement system acted like criminals? How is it that the justice system has no morals, has no justice? We see tonight another High Court of Justice decision about the Shin Bet chief. And I've been asked to ask, when will the moment come for you to say this is an illegal command, this is something that there's a black flag over, and we refuse to adhere to the High Court of Justice's ruling? I would like to read out the law to you about the appointment of a Shin Bet chief. Section 3A. The head of the Israeli Security Agency will be appointed by the government according to the Prime Minister's proposal. Section 3C, the government may terminate the term in office of the Shin Bet chief before it comes to an end. So that's the law. It's very clear. There are no lacunae. Sometimes there are lacunae. Sometimes the court must interpret when there are lacunae, but there are none in this case. Clear. Now everyone must abide by the law. I must abide by the law. You must abide by the law. All of Israel's citizens must abide by the law. The judges too must abide by the law, and so must the Attorney General. This law is not a privilege. It's not something that you choose to do or choose not to do. The law requires us all, binds us all. And anyone who breaks the law, breaks the law. And so I believe that the question is simple. Should the Attorney General and the High Court of Justice adhere to this law, which is the choice of the people? Because that is what democracy is all about. We are a lawful democratic state, which means the laws are legislated by those elected by the public. And now the question is, will they respect this law or not? Because the ruling that has been passed is outrageous. It goes against the law very explicitly, and it also harms democracy. It harms Israel's security, and it will not allow us. It makes it difficult for us to appoint an ISA chief, and it's the same as dismissing one. So after this ruling today, and I'm sure there's lots of criticism about it, after this ruling, right at that very moment, in great timing, I received a letter from the Attorney General. And she says, you cannot appoint a Shin Bet chief. Why? Because I am in a conflict of interest. Am I in a conflict of interest? She's in a conflict of interest. Not only that, she's in several conflicts of interest. It's just like the camel not being able to see their own hump. So she has two humps at least. And so we discovered a few days ago in my court case that the witness by the plaintiff is very close to the Attorney General, and she did not report that, and that is a true power of conflict of interest par excellence. I don't know what would have happened if it were me. Another case, another court case, and there's another hump, as I've said. The Attorney General has been close for many years, very close and very intimate with the Shin Bet chief. Tomorrow morning, she will have to give me an answer about this conflict of interest, and today she told me that I'm in conflict of interest and I cannot appoint a new Shin Bet chief. Well, okay. Look, we are at war. We are at war. It's a difficult war against Hamas, and they are in a hard war against the government that is fighting Hamas and against Israel. They are harming Israeli security by making it difficult for a Shin Bet chief to be appointed. He must be appointed soon, and just as the other positions, the governor has not been appointed, and it's been 70-odd years, and there have been no such instructions, and suddenly they're inventing all sorts of instructions. And of course, one judge was against, but it's all a show. And now I would like to tell you, that's the question that I'm going to answer. The Israeli government, headed by myself, will appoint a Shin Bet chief. It is essential to our security, and we will do so. Good evening, Mr. Prime Minister. A year and a half ago, you promised complete victory soon. Is it your failure that this victory has yet to be achieved, and when do you think it will be achieved? First of all, many victories have been presented. We have changed the Middle East. I said on the second day of the war, I said we will change the Middle East. And we did. I'm not even talking about the situation created in the south where people are returning to their homes. Why? Because there are no rockets. Yes, there is one or two, but there's no ability for incursion. But let me tell you what is holding us back. But look at what we've done so far. We got Hezbollah down on its knees. Because of our actions, the Assad regime has been toppled. We have taken action against Iran. We have changed the Middle East. We have broken the axis. I'm not saying we eliminated it, but we've broken it, and there's still some work to be done. But why is the war in Gaza taking so long? Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Because no army in the world has ever encountered such an urban setting with dozens of thousands of terrorists underground, above ground, with a population that supports them. This is a new situation in urban wars. There has not been anything like that, not in Fallujah or anywhere else. What else? In addition, they also don't have hostages. That's a new thing too. And another thing, we also had to withstand pressure, international pressure, embargo. It's not something that just can be taken for granted. All of these things did and do delay us. We don't want to hurt our hostages. We want to continue with the war. We will do it one stage after another. Now we've reached a crucial stage. The Iron Chariots is very crucial. We want to complete these 3 missions in Gaza. We want to destroy Hamas rule, we want to bring back all of our hostages, and we want to make sure that Gaza takes on a new route. We have defined that, and we are doing that very determinedly, but also very cautiously. Why? Because we want to achieve these goals with minimum losses among the lives of IDF soldiers. That is why we are doing what we're doing and how we're doing it. But it's not going to take another 18 months, that I can promise you. I don't want to reveal our plans here or our schedules, but we are determined to complete the defeat of Hamas, the return of all our hostages, and to bring a new future to Gaza. Otherwise, we'll just keep getting it back again and again. So it's not going to be another round. It's going to be decisive.